let's talk about farmhands. And while we have money, I'm going to show you some helpful strategies for managing your farmhands and getting the absolute most out of them. So you see here this little square around the farmhand. This marks the area that they are able to manage, and I like to mark it off. So I know that everything inside of that they're going to manage. Well, thank you, Iris. Okay, ads for free. That's okay. All right, so we have it marked off so we can see what their outer reach is. Now, the first thought you have is, oh, I have to put everything down inside this square. This is not true. And I also don't recommend it unless you want them to continually harvest things. So like with animals, especially in the beginning, it's a little expensive to manage animals. And if your farmhands are constantly feeding them and harvesting them, they're throwing your money in there whether you want them to or not, and then they're harvesting them when you don't really need them to harvest. And if you only want them to harvest when you need a quest, the best thing to do is to give them one. So we'll do this with pigs. Now you'll notice the first one I'm putting out of his reach. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm putting down my little plot of pigs. And I don't actually have a quest for him right now, or we'll pretend I don't have a quest. I don't actually know. So I don't want him to harvest my pigs, but I do want him to feed them, and then I want him to leave them alone. So what you do is you put the whole group outside of his reach, and then you put one inside his reach. And here he comes. He's going to go over here and he's going to feed them. Now what that does is it feeds everybody. All the pigs are fed now. But when this one is ready, when all of these are ready, he will only harvest this one because he can't reach the others. But he'll continue to keep them fed. And what that does is leaves you free to harvest your pigs whenever you want to. And the same thing works with fish. Now you notice I put down two different types of fish, and because they connect, they're joined into one pond, he only has to reach this block to fish all of them. But if I do this, not that, this, these fish don't connect. So he can't actually fish them. But what I can do is I can make a trail and put it into his area along with all the others. So now he can fish this group too. And if you don't like, the unsightly blocks, gaps or whatever, You can hide them with water, lily pads, more lily pad, and if my farm was level 60, you could also do rice. As soon as I find the rice. Yeah, it's down here, level 60. And that'll hide the unsightly lines between the different types of fish. That doesn't actually connect them though, so see, he still has to be able to touch this one. Now the next thing is, your farmhand shouldn't be standing here doing nothing. He really shouldn't. You need to make the most out of all of them. And in the beginning, it's difficult to fill everything up and give him tons of stuff to do because, you know, money. But what you can do is you can start a little corner of, say, trees that you need to unlock. And just put a couple down. If you can't afford many of them, just put a couple down, because what that does is every time they come in season, he's going to harvest them. So you're gaining XP, albeit slow. You're gaining XP for those trees, and that'll help you unlock other things. You can do the same thing with your flowers. Although flowers, they have a bit of time on them, so it's not like he's working regularly. So I like to start my farmhands off with trees. Now, not everybody has these guys, but most of you will eventually get money trees. And that's a good way to get a diamond farm going, is put them in reach of your farmhand. And at higher levels, you'll have rubber trees, which also give you diamonds. Now, early game, I would not recommend doing clove trees, simply because they cost ribbons. They're very expensive, but you can also do those too. Cinnamon trees. Those are 4 season. They're also later on, I believe. Yeah, level 52 till you can get those. Those are 4 seasons, so you get a lot of use out of those, but they're also 5 ribbons, so that's also a later game thing. So stick with the majority 4 season trees, so the guy is working all the time. Get some diamond trees up so he can be making some passive diamonds for you. And you want to put multiple types of trees down. Some trees give you vegetables, like avocados. So you've got your fruits, your vegetables, you've got your, I don't know what you call the fabric type stuff, but some trees give that. You've also got some mushrooms. So if you put a little bit of everything down for your farmhand to work, he'll keep your inventory supplied with all these basic things that you'll need for cooking. And see, he's over there feeding my pigs. And that's basically it for your farmhands. I mean, I like to give all mine flowers, so let's give him some flowers. And my favorite flowers right now are the new ones, because they're only an hour. Now he has this whole little corner to do. Now this is an alternate farm for me, so I'm going to be logged off and working on another farm, so every hour when I come back, this is going to be ready, and he's going to be making money for me. And while I'm here AFK, he's going to be making money and diamonds off these trees and off the fish and feeding my animals. But that's the basics of your farmhands and how to make the most of them.